Around 1 in 7 people in this country have a neurodiverse condition, meaning their brain processes information in a way that is not typical. 1 in 7. So it's almost certain that you will work with or know someone who has one or more of these conditions. And what many of us probably don't appreciate is just how much effort is involved in having a neurodiverse brain in a neurotypical world.
I spent so much time trying to mould myself into what people want to see, and it is a lifelong struggle of be that normal person, act a certain way, talk a certain way. But I am so tired because I am having to consciously, constantly think, don't do that, don't do that, don't do this.
This exhausting, conscious effort is called masking, and it's what many neurodiverse people do to try to meet the expectations of other people.
It's like even when I'm talking to you, I'm realising that I need to make more eye contact because my gaze is like drawing to the side because that's where it's easier for me to talk. And it's like things like taking turns in conversation of like, I know when I'm masking that I need to leave room for a reply or another question, and I know what that is, and that's probably like the formula I'll follow for my interactions with most people because that's how it works.
One common characteristic of being neurodiverse is a lack of awareness of social cues, and this can make one-to-one communication particularly challenging.
I'm very blunt, I'm very honest, and I sometimes have to say, you do know I'm just joking. Like, I don't know if they've misconstrued it like that, but in my head I'm thinking, oh, maybe I shouldn't have said that, because that could be seen as rude or something.
Someone might have a funny joke, and then I'll probably say something that's really, really dark as a joke, and it's like, oh, mate, okay, that was a bit much. So I can never get that right.
As well as having to navigate difficult social interactions, many neurodiverse people also have the added challenge of an acute and constant awareness of their surroundings.
Sort of like all the different things that are going on around you that make it difficult for you to focus. Like that. You know, soft scoop. Yeah, things like that, you'd be surprised. And it actually it physically manifests itself as like a headache for me.
What the science has revealed is that neurodiverse brains don't filter out sensory information in the same way that neurotypical brains do. So, for example, the sights and sounds of a supermarket that would fade into the background for most people can become overwhelming for a neurodiverse person. And this sensory overload is more than just irritation. To a neurodiverse person, it can feel like physical pain, which is why Jack will sometimes wear ear defenders while working.
There's certain noises for me that will set me off and I'll feel really, really sick and really uncomfortable. It's hard to explain to neurotypicals because they're probably thinking, well, yeah, we know it's a bad sound, but surely it can't make you feel that bad. I could have a loading bar scrape in a certain way and it would make me physically ill. I've had situations where I've literally had to sit in the toilet for 15, 20 minutes just so I get some silence because I forgot my headphones.
So given all these challenges, does that mean a neurodiverse person can't do their job as well as anyone else?
No, absolutely, it's the opposite. I've never had any issues with any neurodiverse drivers that we've employed on our site. The routine that a neurodiverse driver has makes it easier for me, makes me more confident that they're going to go out and do things in the correct order.
It's an unhelpful cliche to think of neurodiversity as some sort of superpower, but the fact is, the way a neurodiverse brain works can be an advantage in some situations.
Our old manager, Zoe, she works for Sainsbury's now, but when she was here, and that was when I was doing team leadering, and when things need to be like organised or tidied and put back in a certain way, or when we used to do the drinks fridge, certain jobs like that that require that slight more detail orientated nature, she'd just say, oh, just leave for Joe, because Joe will do them.
And Ash also finds that the way their brain works is really helpful, especially when working out the fastest way to fulfill online shopping orders.
Even though it gives you the order, I always reorder it so I know how I would get there quicker, because it does it itself. But I don't agree with the way that it tells us to do the shopping. And now I understand why they keep putting me on Whoosh, the delivery system, because I probably walk very fast around the shop, and that hopefully that keeps our time, hopefully our time small between deliveries.
Still trying to get to grips with everything.
The fact is that often the only barrier a neurodiverse person faces at work is the lack of understanding from those around them, particularly when it comes to how they like information and instructions to be communicated.
The one thing that neurodiverse people appreciate more than anything else is just clarity. As long as you say what you mean and mean what you say, it should be okay.
And it was partly this lack of clarity from colleagues that made life so difficult for Ash in their previous workplace.
It felt like they were trying to they wanted me to read their minds, where it'd be like, if I was on the till and then they bring out green trays and then they just walk away, and I'd be like, well, I can't do it because I don't know if they're going to do green trays. They've not asked me to do it. And I just had to start asking, because they'd be like, sometimes it'd be a, yes, that's for you. And then sometimes it'd be like, no, I'm going to do it. And there wasn't any sort of indication for me to sort of read on that, or if they were expecting me to do something, if the expectation sort of isn't stated.
The autistic side of me said, you have to tell me exactly what you want.
Most of the issues that neurodiverse people face are often just caused by misunderstandings. So what advice would Ash, Joe and Jack give to help us make things easier for those neurodiverse people in our lives?
Don't be afraid to ask if someone neurodiverse has got what you've told them or what you've asked them to do. We'd appreciate it more than anything that basically we're on the same page. So even if you have to ask extra questions, it's not patronising, it's not insulting, it's actually more helpful than you think.
Just don't assume, I guess, is like I said, a lot of things that I feel like that goes wrong with me is that there isn't enough communication.
Just try and understand, and when you see somebody that you know that is struggling, dealing with those things that are brought about from being neurodiverse, just ask, are you okay? Do you need anything? Is there anything I can do to make you feel more comfortable? And sometimes the answer is no. Just thanks for asking.
And one thing that's very clear is that while being neurodiverse has its challenges, with the right support and a little understanding, it doesn't have to be a barrier to enjoying a happy and fulfilling life at work.
I love being autistic, so it's great that I don't think I'd be the same person if I wasn't, because it doesn't stop me from doing anything. I just do things differently.
Yes, we are different. But is that such a bad thing?